Hey, hello. This is the fourth time I'm filming this intro because I forgot how to do intros for videos. It's incredibly difficult, surprisingly. Also, I have a small cold. My voice is a little scratchy. We'll just go ahead and look past that, maybe add some flavor to the words that I say to you. First, I wanted to say just a huge thank you to all of you who were incredibly supportive and kind to me on my video that I made last week. I don't know, I guess I honestly thought nobody would remember me or care or whatever, not in a oh pity me kind of a way, just I've been gone for so long. I just want to say thank you. That was incredibly nice and totally unexpected, so sincere thank you for that. The second thing, which is the point of the video, is that I want to talk about both a movie and a book that technically are not related to each other, but I'm going to try and relate them together for you. So I'm trying to, there we go. It was Alfred Weaver. You mentioned, you asked me if I had seen The Alpinist. I had not at that point. I went home for Christmas and my family, totally by coincidence, we ended up seeing the movie. So that was pretty cool. And then I mentioned last week, that was extremely loud and incredibly close. Little book joke for you there, that I received this book from my mentor. This is a graphic novel about alpinism, but more about climbing than alpinism, but it's a graphic novel, has lots of really cool art in it. Art, photography, all sorts of stuff. So totally kind of by coincidence I managed to consume both of these things at the same time, and I just finished the graphic novel this morning, and I realized there were some really interesting things that I want to talk about. So I don't know if this is in technically the booktube community or not, but hey, one's a graphic novel, one is a book that one of you mentioned, so I think that counts, right? To bring everybody up to speed, but to also mega spoilers for the movie The Alpinist. If you're not going to see it, you're welcome to keep watching, of course. But if you do want to see the movie The Alpinist, it's about a climber, a really significant, really innovative climber. Please do not watch this video. Go watch it, come back if you want, or not. Hey, it's your life, whatever. But I'm going to mega spoil the movie for you, as well as the book, but I think the book is a little harder to find anyway, but I do recommend it. Just spoilers, I guess, for that. Coffee for health. Oh, Lord. Okay, so just to recap, the movie is about Marc-Andre Leclerc, a free solo or solo climber / alpinist. So someone who climbs up mountains and rock faces either without ropes or without a significant amount of equipment, which is as dangerous as it sounds. Actually, it's probably more dangerous than it sounds. Mark was, there's a spoiler right there for you, but Mark was a very innovative climber who, I'm sure you guys have all heard of Alex Honnold. He's the famous free solo climber. Even Alex Honnold was like, man, this guy's crazy. So that's pretty cool. Scooch my chair. Scooch my chair. So you have this movie about this phenomenal, fearless climber, and then this book is about a climber who has a family, who's a little older, actually I think about 15 years older, who one of his climbing mentors passed away. This is all very early in the book, and he is cremated, and so Jeremy Collins is the climber and also the author. Jeremy Collins develops this idea to climb a first ascent in each of the directions of the compass, so northeast, southwest, in case we all needed a refresher on the 4 cardinal directions. So he wants to do that so he can spread his friend's ashes. So this book follows that journey. He goes, in these 4 different directions, 4 totally different mountains with different groups of people, which is really cool, and sort of documents that process. And goodness, heck, and sort of, tells some of the life that happens when you're trying to make these ascents. The movie with about Marc-Andre Leclerc is more like this guy is off climbing things, he's hard to trace, And if there is ever a camera on him, it's either by coincidence or because they tracked Mark down and were like, hey, we're sponsoring you, we need to film you for this movie we're trying to make. And so it basically documents Mark going around doing all these first ascents, but like at a significantly higher level than in this book, in terms of difficulty and also craziness, in my opinion. Although, to be totally honest, I wouldn't be doing this kind of stuff either because I think that's scary. So that's like the basic overview of each of the two things. But one of the themes between the two that I want to talk about is the selfishness and the pursuit of happiness or the pursuit of a goal. Because in spoilers, in the movie, Mark and his climbing partner, Ryan Johnson, they do a first ascent of a mountain in Juneau, Alaska. There's an avalanche and it kills them, which is like really shocking in the movie because the movie was clearly made, along their lives, and then suddenly this event happened, and so they kind of like totally pivot the movie, and it's really surprising. And I also wanted to point out that they hardly gave any memorial to Ryan Johnson. It was really focused on Mark, which I think is a little uncool. So anyway, and then in the book, Jeremy Collins he documents a couple of some scary falls. Let's try that again. Jeremy talks about some scary falls that happen that I believe one of his climbing partners breaks his ankle. Jeremy falls at one point and he starts climbing a couple hours later, and he's run out by like 50 feet, which could mean like 100-foot drop. And he thinks about the fall that he just took, and he's like, yeah, I chose to be here. I'm choosing to do this. I have a family, a wife and 2 kids at home, and like I am climbing intentionally, and I could die. Like something really bad could theoretically happen to me. And I think that's a really interesting question. And I'm not saying that I agree on either side necessarily, but like, what do you all think about, is it a right to pursue your goal, your hobby, your passion relentlessly, even though it could put other people either at risk directly because they're your climbing partners, for instance, or indirectly, they're your spouse, your children, your friends, your family, whatever, in pursuit of whatever it is that you want. So it's like, at what point is that a right? And at what point do we need to maybe think about drawing a line? I don't know. I can't stop coughing apparently. I think it's a really interesting and obviously not black and white question. So to kind of highlight this, at the end of the book right here, he says life is most delicate in the spending of it, which, yeah, probably. But I think that covers both life is delicate in terms of we have a finite amount of time. We want to get the most out of it. We want to get the most happiness, the most satisfaction, do the most things. But at the same time, it's very delicate sometimes to pursue these things. And I don't even mean like danger of climbing up a mountain. I mean like if someone pursues a job that is 80 hours a week, there is some compensatory mechanism in order to let that happen. And is that worth it? I think that answer is totally different for different people, but I think between the movie and between this book, I've really thought a lot about that question. What is worth it for me? And at what point is it detracting from relationships, quality of life, whatever it is? I hope any of that really made sense. This isn't like a book review or a movie review in the traditional sense. I just had some things that I wanted to say in my scritchy voice. The last thing I wanted to say about this like weird topic would be that we have to have people who are willing to make these sacrifices in order to expand our world, our knowledge, our like emotional range, our memory banks. I mean, we need people to make these sacrifices. So, Mark died on a mountain from an avalanche that, as well prepared and as experienced as he was, the probability of an avalanche or something he couldn't control finally caught up with him. All of which is to say, you know, he eventually couldn't beat the probability of something being out of his control taking his life, or at least, you know, injuring him. But we needed him to expand our knowledge of what is possible with alpinism to propel alpinism forward. But even then, it's like, do we just have to accept that these sacrifices are noble because we have to have progress? I don't know. I mean, yes, I think that we have to have progress as a human, as a species, right? Although it does take an extreme toll, I think, on a lot of different things in a lot of different ways. I mean, I'm a scientist, right? I work with rats, and, you know, I work with live animals, and those animals are sacrificed in the pursuit of scientific knowledge, which I know is controversial in and of itself, but we don't need to get into that. But, you know, there is always going to be a sacrifice for whatever it is. And I guess, what is the line for you? And that's pretty much all I have to say about that. I mean, there are definitely more themes in the book. As you can see, I've like sticky noted quite a few things here. There's a really cool section where Jeremy Collins illustrated like some life lessons that he wanted his son and daughter to have. And I don't know, it's a really good book. I really recommend it. It's called Drawn, The Art of the Ascent, Jeremy Collins. I think he's done a lot in the climbing world. And I think even he's done some work for National Geographic. I definitely recommend the movie if you haven't seen it. I like just majorly spoiled it for you. Hopefully you have seen it. Hopefully this cold goes away. But who knows, right? So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. In case you're wondering why my hair is residing only on this side, it's because yesterday I did a bunch of some barbell like weightlifting cleans. I feel like if I just say I was doing cleans, no one would understand what that means. So I was doing a bunch of barbell stuff, and I bruised up my collarbone pretty good. So that's why my hair is currently covering this part. So that's everything. Please give me your thoughts in the comments. I have like conflicting opinions on pretty much everything I just said. And let me know if you've seen the movie, or if you've heard of this book, or if you're interested in seeing the movie or reading this book. I hope you all have a great day, great week, great month, great new year coming. I'm excited. Hopefully it's a good one. Who knows, right? And I will see you guys pretty soon. Bye. That's right, folks. It's Dune time.